Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Now, Dorlier is a fantastic constructor, and I just feel it's a privilege to be able to have a go at one of his puzzles today. This one's called Guided Sums and has been recommended to us by several people before then Dorlier even sent it in. So it was on a list, but Dorlier is keen that we have a go at it as well. So keen to do so. Look at the presentation of this grid. It's just fantastic. There's no digits clearly in the grid. There's nothing outside it. There's just a few little arrows in it. And we'll read what the rules that apply to those are. I don't know. It feels a bit terrifying, frankly, to me, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. Don't forget that we've got all sorts going on around the channel. So extra stuff on the channel, Monday night streaming from the Blueprints house, Friday morning masterclasses in cryptic crosswords, every day Wordle in a minute and minute cryptic. Every day 2 Sudoku puzzles, that's the main fare of the channel. And then on Patreon we've got extra Sudoku hunts on the 1st of the month. They act as competitions until the 20th, but they're always available to Patreons. And solution videos to those, there's extra crossword videos on the channel, on Patreon, extra gridogram and connections as well. So do check those out. Absolutely fascinating. Loads and loads of content. And of course all the apps featuring Classic Sudoku 2 and the Worms. Try some of them. You'll have fun. Right, let's have a look at the rules of Dorlier's Guided Sums, which begin with normal Sudoku rules apply. 1 to 9 going in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. So let's look at these arrows. A digit N on a cell with an arrow indicates that there is a straight line N cells long, starting from the cell the arrow clue is on, and extending in the direction of the arrow. This line acts as a region sum line. So that means that box borders will divide the line into segments with the same sum. But the first digit is giving its length. Each line must cross at least one box border. I mean, it's a wonderfully simple rule. What an intriguing idea. Would you have guessed, I wouldn't, that you could make a grid with that rule and just stick 9 arrows in it and it's going to work somehow? That's crazy. Well, we will see how it works, I hope. Do give it a try yourself on the first link under the video. It's just a brilliant idea. Let's get cracking. Okay, I am firstly going to enable the pen tool so I can draw some of these lines. Well, let's look at these are definitely quite short lines. In these cells, the maximum length of the line is 4 cells. It can't be 1 because it has to cross a box border. So these digits are all 2, 3 or 4. Now, let's start here. If it was a 2, that digit is 2 and that digit is 2. And then neither of these could be 2. If this one is a 3, and I mean it can act as a template for all of them, then the line goes to there, and these 2 digits have to add up to 3 and would be a 2-1 pair. If it's a 4, these digits, well, actually, if it's a 4, the region sum line wouldn't go like that. It would go like that. And the region sum line would have 2 different regions that added up to 4. Well, 3 in fact. Those 2 would be single cell 4s, and that would be a 1-3 pair. So this digit is always going to be 1, 2 or 3. And that must be the same for the ones that these other arrows are immediately pointing to. Because we're either adding up to a single 2 here, a 1-2 pair there, or a 1-3 pair there. I don't think there's any digit that definitely repeats into all of those cells. It would be lovely if we knew that these had to be a 2, 3 and a 4, but we don't. These 2 could be the same digit. Even I think if that was a 2, there wouldn't be anything to prevent 2s being in all those cells. So that's not really got me to a conclusion. Oh, this digit's interesting, and the same with this one. Every line has to cross a box border. So this is kind of limited. It's either 4 cells long or 5 or 6. And I suppose this one can't be a 1 or a 2. It's either 3, 4 or 5. Oh, I see. So there are more limitations than I'd realised. Maybe not when we get down this far. Because this could be a 7. Actually, that would make it quite easy. You'd put 7 in all of those cells. A pair adding up to 7 there, and a pair adding up to 7 there. Oh, I'll tell you what these 3 can't be. And that is a 1, obviously. You could never put a 1 in an arrow cell in this puzzle. Ah, so the 1 in this column, oh, that's really clever, Dorlea, has to be up here. This digit, no, not just this digit. Neither of these digits can be a 1 now. And I think that's ruling out 3 and 4 from this cell, which is huge. If that was 3, this would have to be a 1-2 pair, but that would clash with the 1 here. If it was 4, that would be a 1-3 pair. So this is now a 2, and we've got our first digit in the grid after just 3 minutes. I wasn't expecting that at first. Now, this isn't a 2. Oh, this isn't a 2 by Sudoku. Now, can it still be a 3? Yes. This would go 1-2. And if it's a 4, this is a 1-3 pair, and that's a 4. So this digit is now 1, 2, or 3. This hasn't changed. Nothing here has changed. That's annoying. Now, could we say that's not a 3? And then 3... No, it wouldn't. We can't even say that's not or that's not. 3 is actually a very easy digit to put in that cell. Oh, I didn't draw my line when I knew how long it was. This one is at least 3 long. I might as well actually draw these lines as far as they must go. These are the minimum lengths of the lines, because they have to get outside the box. That one is not going to be 2. Ah, I see. So lots of these cells in box 4 are covered. No, that was too far. It could be that length. So those are the minimum. Oh, I've got this one as well. Let's go with a different color as we go northwest. These are minimum lengths. Apart from, I know, I'm going to put little circles around that because this one's finished. None of the others are necessarily finished. And nonetheless, I'm going to put circles around the start points of them. Just so I can get used to what I'm looking at here. I mean, this might be more colouring than anybody needs in this puzzle, but it's such an interesting puzzle. Now, if this is 4, that digit sums those 3. They'd have to be 4, 1, they'd literally have to be 4, 1, 3. And that would be a 4. And this would become a 5 then. Why would these be 4, 1, 3? Because 2's gone in the box, and you can't keep the total down if you use a 5 to a 1 cell. So if that was 4, the line would end here, and this cell then has to do quite a lot of lifting. So imagine that this is a 4 and the line ends here. These are a 1-3 pair. That's a 5. 5 plus that, which can't be 4, 1, 3 or 2 or 5, equals that, and that's not possible. So this digit is not a 4. So that line can extend a little further. It's at least 5 long. I mean, it's quite likely to end up being 6 long. Ah, this is strange. Okay, so if this digit is a 4, this line is 4 plus that equals that and also equals that. Oh, maybe we could rule... No, it's much less likely we can rule 4 out of here. 4 there would require this to be the sum of these 3, and that could be 7, 8 or 9 this time. And that would act as the, this is the single, whatever this is the sum of these two. So it's now at least a 4. That's not so interesting. Ah, this digit can't be a 3. Why have I said this digit has to go to there? I think that's a mistake. I don't see why it couldn't be a 3 and stop here. 3 plus that equals that. Now, I was thinking that I'm going to have to think about where, maybe I'm going to have to think about where 9 goes on this line or something. Right, 9 doesn't go on this line because those two digits add up to that. And that can't be higher than 9. And it doesn't go here for the same reason. So 9 in the box goes on one of the lines that could either be longer. I mean, it's interesting. It doesn't really get anything done. It's so strange not knowing the lengths of the lines. It makes such a big difference. Let's think about this being 4. Because that would force this to be 3. And then this would be 1 and 2. If that was 4, we'd have 4 here and a 1, 3 pair here, dictated to by the 1 there. I don't know, it looks possible. That couldn't be 4, but that's not a problem. Oh, strange puzzle. Okay, what if that's a 3? Then this is a 1, 2 pair. That's a 4. This is a 1, 3 pair. That's a 4. Okay, I'm going to give a brief bit of thought to that being a 2. Both of these are 2s. I mean, I'm back in the state of the puzzle where I don't have a clue what to do. Okay, some of these have to be big numbers, don't they? The absolute minimum in these circles for the highest number is a 7. This can't be 7. You see, that's so weird. It can't be 7 because it would reach to that cell, which would be the sum of these 3, and they couldn't then add up to a Sudoku digit. But on the other hand, it could be 8 because those 3 could equal those 3 could equal those 2, and I'm sure it could be 9. So although I can rule 7 out of this cell, it still leaves 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. That's so strange. It's got to be something to do with the groupings of digits on here. So if this digit, we already know it's 5 or 6. Okay, maybe there's a way to rule out 4 from here. I just don't think there is. I don't know what we're going to do. The puzzle's called Guided Sums, but I'm not feeling the guidance at the moment, if I'm brutally honest. Okay, let's think again about, I know this can't be 3 because that's not a 1, 2 pair. I sort of feel both of these could be 3, but what would that require? That would require that digit plus this one. Either those two equal that or those two equal that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I should think that's impossible. It seems very, very doable. Wow, okay, I've got to find something else going on here. And time is ticking by, but let's not panic. Four here. I'd like to rule that out. We'd have maximum total of 5 in these cells. And that would be 7, 8, or 9. If it was 8, this would have to be a 3-5 pair. I mean, I can't really believe we're meant to start experimenting with ruling 8 out of that cell. Oh, maybe, just maybe, I should think about where this digit, let's call it yellow, goes in this box. By Sudoku, it can't go there. It can't go on its own line, and it's not 2. So that digit must go in one of those 3 places. And it's not a small digit. Even if these lines don't stop there, that one is the sum of those 2 equals that. The absolute minimum that could be is a 4. What does that do? Well, if that's a 4, it would go in one of those 2. It can't go in either of the circles at that point, because its own circle couldn't be a 4. And 3 and 1 would have gone here. Oh, no, that's very interesting, because then the minimum total, if that's a 4, this is a 3-1 pair. The minimum total for these 2 cells is now 4 and 5, because 1, 2, 3 are gone in the box. 4, 5 there makes that a 9. That can't be a 9, because the line can't go 9 cells. Ah, okay, so that's not a 4. Perhaps more importantly, this isn't a 1. No, okay, let's just stick with this not being a 4. If this was a 5, we might have a similar problem. We've got 4, 1 here. That 5 has to go somewhere in these cells. But also, this line can't use 1, 2, or 4. It is a minimum of 3, 5. That is a minimum of 8. But this line has a maximum length of 7. So that can't be a 5 either. So this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. Now, if it was a 6, this can't be 3, 3, or 4, 2. This would have to be 5, 1. And that digit would be a 6 as well. Now we'd have used 2, 5, 1. The only way to keep that down to 7 is if this is a 3, 4 pair. So we'd have used 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 6. Wow. I mean, these digits would be 7, 8, and 9. Okay, that does... Well, I don't know. This is a little bit more complicated, but... I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's happening here, but for this to be a 6, we've got 5, 1 there and a 6 here, clearly. Oh, that 5, 1 is going to mean this line extends up here with a pair adding up to 6. Don't know if that matters, probably not. What I'm minded to focus on is if we put a 1 here at all, this has to be a 3, 4 pair. If we put a 1 in this cell, I mean, this is quite a big deal. If we put a 1 in this cell, this has to be a 3, 4 pair with a 7 there. And you also get a 7 here. And a 7 here, and a pair adding to 7 there, and a pair adding to, well, we know that's 3, 4. That would be 3, 4. That would be 5. That would be 6. We're talking about putting a 1 here. So with the 5, it goes 5, 1, 6. Pair adding to 6 there. Pair adding to 7 here. Oh, it's quite complicated, but it does seem to stay alive. this is the only way to get a 1 here. You see, if you don't put a 1 here, this is at least a 3-4 pair, adding to 7 minimum there. Indeed, it can only be 3-4, 3-5, 3-6, or 4-5. So there are real constraints in this. Here's another thought. How do we keep this down to 5? Did the only way of making this a 6, that ended up being 5-1 here. That's true. Otherwise, this is at least a 7. And then this can never be a 1. This is always at least 3. 7 as a sum can't be made up with a digit there and a 1 here. So unless this does go 5-1-6, and that being a 3-4 pair and a 7 here, that is possible. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's possible. If it doesn't do that, this isn't a 1, it's at least 3 or 4. And now these add up to a minimum of 7. I can't quite see my way through, but it's so clever. You can probably see something that I'm not noticing about how these digits work. Oh. Right, I've just had the notion that I haven't thought of before, that if this line carries on and to be at least a 7, it's going to pick up that cell. It's going to be 7 or 8, and it's getting that plus that, and it's putting that same 7 or 8 here and here. I don't know, maybe that's not a problem. Future crossings of the lines, though, this line would cross that line here. And this line, if it carries on to there, oh, if this carries on to there, well, that's... Oh, this line does carry on to there because it's not a 3, because that would need a 1-2 pair there. It's at least a 4. Why didn't I work that out? Now it hits this line, and it's the same single cell total in these two cells. Doesn't matter whether it goes on. Now, if this was a 4, this would be a 1-3 pair. That would become a 5. That would be a 6. With 1-3 there, this would have to go 5-4-9. Oh, this is interesting. If this was a 4, we've got a 1-3 pair here. 5-4-9. 4 there on the 9 line, and that doesn't work because you've got 4 there and a 5 and at least something there. Yeah, 4 here doesn't work for this line. No, hang on. That's all right. Putting a 5 here extends this line. Okay, this might work. So this being a 4 puts a 4 there. Oh, it also puts a 3 here. I hadn't seen that. It's got a 1-3 pair here. 5, 6. Maybe 4 does work there. Maybe I have to work on the longer digits. If that was a 5, all of these are 5s. That would then have to be a 6 because it couldn't be a 4. That's quite interesting. Oh, that doesn't work at all. Right, this can't be a 5 because it would put a 5 here. That would make this either 4, which is impossible from adding those 3 to equal that, or a 6, which would make that impossible to fill because you'd have 5 here and 6 there. So 5 doesn't work in this position. So it's either 4, 6 or 7. 7 is the longest it can get. Now, if this is 6, that's a 1, 5 pair and you can't fill that cell. This can't be a 2, 4 pair because we've already had that too. So that's not a 6. So this is definitely either 4 or 7. So is this digit. And this is either a 1, 3 pair, or it adds up to 7 without using 2, in which case it's 1, 6 or 3, 4. Oh, I mean, this is just weird and fascinating. Right. Can this not be a 4 anymore? I haven't got that. I don't know. Why is this the number then? Maybe this is going to really matter now. Okay, let's just think about it being 4. You've got 3, 1 here. You've got a definite 5 and 6 there. If that's 4, this is 5, that's 6. I think this has to be 1. You've put 1, 3, 2, 5, 6 in the box. Oh, that has to be 4. That doesn't work. Right. 4 here doesn't work for a slightly more complicated reason than anything else we've done so far. Because that's a 1, 3 pair. That makes this a 5 and this a 6. This 5, and now we've used 2, 5, 6, 3 and 4. This 5 here is going to have to go with this digit. We've used 2, 5, 6, 3 and 4. No, no, we haven't. If it's 4 here, we've used 3 and 1. That's a 5, that's a 6. Now we've used 2, 5, 6, 3, 1. If that's a 5, then that would have to be a 4 to keep the total here down, but 4 would clash with 4 there. So this is not a 4, this is a 7. The line is going to extend all the way to the top of the grid. This digit is an orange 7. That's a 7 as well. Now, this can't be a 4 anymore, because those would add up to at least 12 for one cell. So we've got ourselves a 5, 6 pair. Finally, I can extend this line a bit further. This digit is not a... No, I don't know, that's not a 7. Calm down. This pair does add to 7. It's not 2, 5. It's either 1, 6 or 3, 4. If it was 3, 4, that's 5, that's 6. Wow, I don't know where we're going to get off this train next. It is just so strange. I mean, I haven't really filled many cells. I've got some 7s in, and I know a bit about that pair. I know some... Okay, if this was 1, 6, that's 5. Two, 1, 6, 5, and either 3 or 4 having been used here. The minimum for this line would be 5, 3, 5, 8, 3. No, 5, 7, 3 is 15 in those two cells. You know what I'm going to say? That's annoyingly possible. Wow. This puzzle is bonkers. Oh, 5, 6 pair there rules out this from being a 6. That stops this being a 1. Now I've still got to think about where this digit goes in this box. Because now it's either there or there. That's the only place that yellow can go. It's in one of those two cells. If it goes here, it's clearly a 6. I don't know what that does or means or says or is. it might do something. Yeah, if that's a 6, that's a 6. This must be a 3-4 pair, and that's a 5, and this is a 1. If this isn't a 6, it goes there. Oh, if it's a 7, that pair adds up to 7, that pair adds up to 7. They're a 1-6 and a 3-4 pair in some. In fact, this one would have to be a 3-4 pair. This one would be 1 and 6. That would be a 5. And now this doesn't work because the minimum sum for this line would be 5, 7, 8, which is 20 for 2 cells there. That's if this is a 7. So I'm ruling out 7 from there. That's so strange. If this is 8, this has to be a 3-5 pair. Then this is a 6, this is an 8. And this pair can't be made up. If that was a 3-5 pair, this would have to be a 6-1 pair, but that would also have to be a 6. So it's not an 8. Can I possibly rule out 9 now? That would put 9 here. Now, there seems to be a lot more flexibility about 9. This would either be a 5-4 pair or a 3-6 pair. If it was a 5-4 pair, that would be 1-6 and you couldn't fill this cell. If it was a 3-6 pair, you couldn't actually fill these. 9 doesn't work either. That's extraordinary. I couldn't rule out 6 because it's right. I could rule out 7, 8 and 9 instead, individually. Right, that's a 6. This now has to be a 5-1 pair. That's a 6. Let's get rid of the bogus colouring. I mean, I don't think this colouring is going to matter anymore because we're kind of finding how to do the puzzle. This has been quite big. This digit becomes a 5 as well. Now, let's extend a couple of my lines. That one is now 6. This one is now 5. 7 is going to go in one of these cells, and 8 and 9 are still to be placed. This trio adds to at least 21, somewhere between 21 and 23, and that's got to be the same there. This adds to 6, and this adds to 7. I don't know. Okay, I don't know how to do that. Can that digit be a 4 on this line? We're adding up to at least 21. If that was 6, 7, 8, this could be 4 with a 9, 8 pair. That would have to be a 5-1 pair. And you couldn't make this work. Wow, I mean, that's quite complicated, but it's good enough. If that was a 4, you'd get a 4 here on the pink extended line. That would have to be a 9, 8 pair to match the minimum here, 6, 7, 8. So you'd have 4, 9, 8 here. This 6 pair would be 5-1. And you couldn't make this up with 1, 6, 2, 5 or 3, 4. So that is now a 3. Well, I mean, you know, I'll take my, I'm not proud, I'll take my findings where I can. Now, this is not a 3. If it's a 2, that's a 2. If it's a 4, this is a 3. And then this would be a 1, and this would be a 4. I can't rule that out yet. I don't know what I can. If this is 2, 4, I know which way round it goes. If it's 5, 1, I don't. If it's 2, 4, this is a 1, 6 pair, which it cannot be because that digit can't be 1 or 6. So this can't be a 2, 4 pair. That's bizarre. So this is definitely a 1, 5 pair. Now this has to be a 3, 4 pair. And now what about these? They don't have a 2 on. So this digit is a 2 because they can't get to the required total. So they're from 6, 7, 8, 9. I want to say they have a 6 in, but I don't know if that's true. I mean, I think, well, they do, because that 6 sees that cell. So now they have a 6 in by Sudoku. I imagine they do by maths as well, but I'm not going to work that out because I don't need to. Now, we've had 2, 5, 6, 7 here. This could still be a 4, rather incredibly. I have a feeling it won't be, but you never know. Now, what about this line? Oh, this line has terminated. Oh, I've forgotten to put in my terminating circles, which are quite interesting, aren't they? Well, I don't know. They're gratifying. Now, this is 12 plus something there, which is at least a 1. And can't be more than a 3. 1, 2, or 3 here, giving 7, 8, or 9 here. Okay, I don't think I know the resolution of that, annoyingly. But if this was an 8, it goes through that. No, I don't think that's helpful either. 2, 5, 6, 7, we've got a 1 up here. This digit is 3, 4, 8, or 9. It's not 5, and therefore there's a 5 in this row in one of these cells. I don't think we're going to be able to do the rest of the puzzle, sadly, by Sudoku, which would help me. 2, 1, 7, 3. 5's also not there, so there's a 5 in one of those two. Might as well observe what I can find in this way. Right, this digit is 7, 8, or 9 and is the sum of these two, neither of which can be 1 or 2. So they're at least a 3, 4 pair. The other possibilities to get to 7, 8, and 9, if they're not a 3, 4 pair, to get to 8, they're a 3, 5 pair, which would be 3 here and 5 here. To get to 9, they're either 3 here and 6 here, or 4 here and 5 here. So this digit is now 3 or 4. This one is 4, 5, or 6. But the line doesn't go past there. If that was a 4, this would be 5, that would be 9, that would be 9. What would have happened then? Not a lot. If it's a 3, I don't know what that is. All of these possibilities are available then. I bet this can't be a 4 now. That would be 3. These would have to be 1 and 2 to give us 7 there. Yeah, this can't be 4 anymore. Because of that being 3, this would these couldn't go above 1, 2 as a pair to get to a single total if that was a 4. Now, this is now 8 or 9, and its line extends quite a long way. Not with that kink in it, but there, like that. Now, if it was, oh no, I was going to say if it was 7. It's not 7, it's 8 or 9. Now, actually, these digits are from 4, 6, 8, 9, so that's giving us one of the numbers on the line. Well, it's hinting at one of the numbers on the line. 7 in box 1 is now in one of those two cells. So 7 can't be there in box 2 and must be here in box 2. Now that line is 6, 8, 9 equals 23. So that's not 7, it has to be 23 on this bit, and that is a 7. And now we know this is a 3, 4 pair. Bingo. Oh, yeah, we do know which way round it goes. Yes, we do. Yeah, we've worked that out. Right. Now we get to do some Sudoku, finally. Maybe. Maybe not. That's 6, 8, 9. This was a 7. Oh, wow, we've got 7 in this box. That means we know the total of this line is 13. That means this central digit is a 1. And that's on this line, which has an 8 or a 9 there, but also a 1 on it. The absolute minimum for these three cells is 8, 5, 1. That's 14. Can these be kept down to 14, or they would, if it was an 8, they would then have to be, yeah, they can be kept down to 14, but that's something to keep an eye on as we carry on. Right, 6, 3, 7, 5. There's a 1 in, oh, there's a 1 definitely here by Sudoku, and a 1 in one of those. That is 4, 8, or 9 by Sudoku. Okay, the minimum for that's 11, but the minimum here is already 14. This digit is 5, 6, 8, or 9. Oh. What's the maximum here? It's 18. If that was a 9, does this have to be a 1? No, it could be a 2. In fact, what is this? This is available to be all sorts, but if this wasn't 1 or 2, the minimum for these three would be 5, 6, 8, would be 19. But the maximum for these is 18, 9, 8, 1. So this must be a 1 or a 2. There's a 6 in one of those cells by Sudoku. There's a 4 in one of these. Three there, means 3 is in one of these two cells. 7, 1, 5, 3. Any other Sudoku obviousnesses? There's a 2 in one of those two. That's less helpful. Okay, if that was a 2, what's happening? Then this digit's becoming a 1. I wonder if I can rule out 8 here. If that was 8, this would be 1, 4, 9. These would be 3, 5, 8. 8, 5, 1 would be 14. Ooh. How would you make 14 from these? You couldn't. You couldn't use the two lower numbers, 4 and 6. You'd only get to 11. So you've got to use one of the higher numbers. And then you've got, oh, you could, 9, 1, 4 actually. Sorry, you can get to 14. Oh, that's annoying. Right, no, it was a kind of very middly path. Oh, that 1 sees the digit at the top of the box. 5 there, 1 there. Now we know where 1 goes in box 1, and it's in the corner. 5 there, 5 here. So there's a 5 in one of those. That's not going to help. Maybe the top row, 1, 2, 5, 7. We still need a 6 somewhere. Nah. Be lovely to say that there had to be a 3 on that line, because then you'd know it couldn't just be 2 cells. Which is what I think is going to happen. I think this is going to end up being a 9. This is such a clever puzzle idea, by the way. Dahlia. That's from 4, 8, 9. 3 is in one of those two. 5 in the box actually has to be here. Good Lord, that's just been available for a while. Now I get 3 up there where it does no good. This digit is 8 or 9 where it does some good because it's a pair with that one. And now we've got 5 or 6 here. Now the maximum of these might be interesting. It's 17. And that means this can't use a 9-8 pair in box 5. That means one of these is high from 9-8 and one of them is sort of middly from 4-6. And now the sort of sum we can aim for in this box is somewhere between 13 and 16. Here it's 14 to, well, we can now say 14 to 16. And this pair, or triple, is 14 to 16. Oh, now 3 is on this line. And that means it can't just be 2 cells long, because it's at least 14. So it's clearly 3 cells long. Good Lord, that's taken some doing. This is a 9 in the corner to describe the length of the line. Now the possibles are from 15 to 16, and they've got a 3 on up here. Let's just keep that 15 to 16 in mind because it's going to matter. That 9 is placed in box 1. These are from 4, 6, 8 now by Sudoku in the row. There must be a 4 in one of those two cells. How is this not getting resolved? 4? Yes, it can't be a 4 there because the 1, 3 pair has been ruled out. So that's a 2, that's a 2. I think that's my last circle placed. Well, it would be if I'd managed to remember to put a circle there. Now, 2, 2, that digit has become a 1. I was going to say I can do the last one in the grid, but I can't. Can I do the last 2 in the grid? No. Not quite yet. There is a 2 in one of those cells. 6, 3, 7, 5, 1, 2. That's not a 2. I can put 2 in box 5, and then I can put 3 in box 5. These other 2 are from 4, 8, 9. So one of these has to be a 6. Oh, one of those is low. Well, sorry, one's high and one's middly. So one of these is high and one is middly. I don't know. There's a 2 in one of those cells. That's all I know there. Right, we're up to 15 or 16. Now, how do we do 15 or 16 here? We don't use the 4. That won't work. You could only get to 14. So we're using the 6 as the middly digit, and we know exactly where it is. Now we're on 15 or 16. And these have to add to 15 or 16. They've got a 3 in. So the other 2 either add to 12 and are 8, 4. They can't be 6, 6. Now that can't, oh, it could happen. 3, 4, 8, 1, 2, 7. This would be 9 and 5. That's possible. 3, 4, 8. Or if it's 15, no, if it's 16, the other 2 add to 13. Well, they can't be 6, 7. But they could be 4, 9 or 8, 5. Oh, that's so frustrating. It's all up for grabs still. That 6 is looking at this digit. Okay, that's done the Sudoku that I was keen to do. Now, that 9 is looking at this cell, and there we go. We now finally know the sum on this diagonal. It's 15. So that's a 5. Now, there's a 3 on the line and 4 and 8 to make 15. So that's 4. I don't know what these are. They're 3 and 8 in some order. This digit is 6. Now we can reduce to Sudoku, finally. 5 and 9 there. In this row, got a 3, 4, 8 triple. Same in the next row. Well, I thought we could reduce to Sudoku now. This pair is a 4, 9 pair. They're looking at that. Yes, this is good. That's going to finish the top 3 rows entirely. What a clever puzzle this is. I am lost in admiration. In this row, that can't be 8 anymore. I keep looking at this cell thinking it's going to emerge, but it doesn't emerge. It just hides. Down here, we've got a 1, 3, 9 triple. Here, and we've got a 2, 8, 7 triple. That digit is a naked 8. And this is a 4, 5, 6 middly set. Don't think I've got any more calculations. Oh look, I didn't put another circle in there. Don't think I've got any more line calculations to do at all. Oh look, the 9 at the top has dealt with these. That deals with a lot of uncertainties in the middle and top. Now, 5 and 8 here, they go in. 6, 7, 9 here, they don't go in. But we're getting a lot of information now. This needs a 5 in its column. There it is. That's going to sort out my triple there. Now 6, 6. Oh, one of those is 6. 4, 4. I can place 4 in box 9. This column now needs, that is a naked 3. And that's 6 or 9, as this is 6 or 9, but it can't be 9. So that's going to sort out the triple. 1, 8 down here. That's a 7. That sorts out 2, 7, and that gives me 2. And let's just get rid of that colouring, which never really crystallized. We'll put an 8 there, and that finishes the puzzle. What a fantastic idea. Our sums were guided, but they were difficult to limit. Brilliant stuff from Daulaire. I really enjoyed that, exactly as I expected. Hope you had a go at the puzzle. Hope to see you again on the channel soon. Do come back tomorrow. Bye for now.